This is Red for On the Red Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Hotstove of the 2020-21 offseason, week number 13. Wow, so much has happened. Let's just get into the news. First of all, it was officially that Adam Duvall signed a deal with the Marlins. The Marlins, I don't understand this. They got two corner outfielders already. And the fact that Marte used to be a corner outfielder, and they still have a few other guys on their team that can play the outfield. So, like, Duvall's going to be good in the National League because he could pinch hit and come off the bench, and that's a good thing. But between Corey Dickerson and Starling Marte, he's not going to have as many at-bats. Maybe Duvall gets some at-bats at first base because the Marlins are not sure about first base in interleague matchups at DH, but overall, I don't understand him going there out of all the teams. The Brewers have claimed both Travis Demeritte and Derek Fisher off waivers. They still have a good outfield of Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich, so both those guys may get at-bats, and especially in the National League, pinch hitting, pinch running, maybe they give Derek Fisher a full opportunity. A team could probably do that finally. And as I said last week, a lot of players are going back to where they were successful. Jerick Arrieta has announced that he's going back to the Chicago Cubs. That will help out the Cubs, as outside of Kyle Hendricks, there's no 100% guaranteed guy that's going to be in the rotation, no matter who. So that's good for them. If he's healthy, at this point in his career, a back-end starter is helpful. Diamondbacks picked up Asdrubal Cabrera. Don't understand it because their infield is set. But he can give guys breathers, be a pinch hitter in the National League, so he'll be a very useful player for that team. Rich Hill has joined the race, so they're just stockpiling arms after the track and traded Blake Snell. So that's good to get some extra pitching. Rangers signed Jonathan Hicks to a minor league deal that just builds up the organizational depth at catcher because they're not sure what the catching situation is actually going to be. The Yankees signed Jay Bruce to a minor deal, and that makes sense for the fact that Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge and Aaron Hicks, all three of them, and Clint Frazier to so forth, are the outfielders, and they never really stay healthy. Luke Voigt has missed some time with injuries, so Jay Bruce may get some at-bats at first base or DH if he's not playing corner outfield. I just thought Jay Bruce was good enough to get a major league deal. Orioles signed Matt Harvey to minor league deals. So him and Felix Hernandez may be on the Orioles, and it may be like 5-6 years ago when they both were pretty good. The Orioles just need bodies to pitch, and Matt Harvey is a name. Red Sox signed Chris Herman to a minor league deal. Just organizational depth because they already have a good starting catcher in Christian Vasquez. Cardinals signed Matt Caesar to a minor league deal. Just organizational depth because they got a set outfield. Paxton went back to the Mariners. As I said, people going back to where they're successful. He gets to actually pitch with the players he was traded for, like Sheffield and Dunn, so it's pretty interesting. Justin Turner decided to stay with the Dodgers for a 2-year deal. Made sense. There really wasn't many teams jumping after Justin Turner. And the White Sox signed former Red Sox infielder Marco Hernandez and former Mets and Nationals infielder Matt Reynolds, both of them to a minor league deal. The Sox are just stockpiling at least backup middle infielders in case of injuries to Anderson or Moncada or Madrigal, even though they have Mendick and Leori Garcia, but that's another story. The Mets signed Mike Montgomery and Tommy Hunter to a minor league deal. Montgomery may be useful for them as a swing pitcher, and Tommy Hunter, if he's healthy, is a very, very good setup man, as a former closer would say. That helped them out because the bullpen's a little bit shaky. Brewers signed Brad Boxberg to a minor league deal. That's going to help out their bullpen, as they need to fix their bullpen just a bit. And A's signed Sergio Romo to a deal that will replace the fact that they lost Liam Hendricks and they lost Soria to free agency, and they brought back Yasmero Petit, so that just keeps their bullpen the way it was. The Braves signed Jason Kipnis to a minor league deal. They have a pretty good second baseman, Ozzie Albies. Kipnis also used to be an outfielder, but I don't think the Braves are going to throw him in the outfield because they got a pretty much set outfield. Again, this will be for pinch hitting off the bench and just giving their starters some rest. Philly signed Travis Jankowski to a minor league deal, just in more depth in center field because there's question marks there. Rockies signed C.J. Cron to a minor league deal. With Murphy's retirement, there's no guaranteed who's going to play first base for the Rockies, so that's going to be good. Padres just signed Keon Kela. That's good because they just got Melanson, so now they're getting guys with career saves into their bullpen to replace their relief pitcher that left them, so that's good there. The Twins signed Matt Schumacher. They just need to replace like Rich Hill and other guys became free agents, and when healthy, it's a pretty good 4th or 5th starter. Yankees signed Robinson Chirinos to a minor league deal. And again, Gary Sanchez hasn't been the most healthy. They kind of need a good backup, so that's a good point that if a former Major League starter can actually help them out. The Mets, instead of spending money on George Springer, Jackie Bradley Jr., and other outfielders, signed Almora last week, and this week they picked up Kevin Pillar. So they get themselves two really good defensive center fielders. that will help them out during a full season. The Blake Parker signed a minor deal with the Indians. The Indians are just signing some of these veteran relievers to minor league deals to revamp their bullpen, like bringing back Oliver Perez to a minor league deal. Yankees picked up Justin Wilson. That will definitely help out their bullpen to continue their strength of being the bullpen in that rotation. The Red Sox signed Hirokazu Samura to a 2-year deal, a Japanese pitcher who's been pitching for a while now as a successful relief pitcher. They're just trying to fix their bullpen. Philly signed Jeff Mathis, and again, JT Realmuto doesn't miss time, but it's good to have a veteran backup that can handle a pitching staff to be as a chance to be a backup catcher. The Reds signed Cam Bedrosian to a minor league deal. That just helps out them trying to revamp their bullpen after some departure. The Dodgers signed Matt Davidson minor league deal. I don't know what's going to happen. There's no DH this season. They have a set corner infield and pinch hitting off the bench, so it's organizational depth. Both Brett Anderson, who re-signed to stay in Milwaukee, and Travis Shaw, who was on Milwaukee 2 seasons ago, have both re-signed to go back to the Brewers. And the Brewers right now, yes, they got Urias, and they just signed Colton Wong, and they're going to move maybe Keston here to first base. But getting Travis Shaw helps them knowing that, you know what? We can play him at first base. We can play him at third base. You know, we can have him pinch hit. Interleague matchup DH. So at least that guy will help them out offensively there. Nationals signed T.J. McFarland to a minor league deal. That guy's been a veteran reliever for a while now. That helped them out organizational depth-wise. Pirates signed Tyler Anderson. They're not sure how their pitching staff goes, so he can make the team out of spring training. Giants signed Nick Trapino, former Major League pitcher, to a minor league deal. Again, reclamation projects for their bullpen and the rotation. Pedro Stop has gone back to the Cubs like Arrieta to try to get some success because, you know, he didn't have the best year last year, and that to minor league deal helps out their bullpen because it's not going to guarantee, you know, super amount of money. And the Phillies signed Tony Watson to, I'm surprised, a minor league deal. That guy's been a pretty successful major league relief pitcher, but again, the market's not saying we got to give guys all this money. But man, if he makes the team along with Brandon Kinsler to what they already signed in Bradley, that they just fixed their bullpen like overall the offseason, and it's going to be a lot better. Cubs signed Brandon Workman, former Red Sox pitcher, turned closer, to Joy Kimbrell, another Red Sox closer. So they're trying to fix their bullpen there with him and Pedro Stop. The Rays got Chris Mazza and Jeffrey Springs from the Red Sox for 2 minor league players. I guess the Red Sox are trying to clear space off the 4-man roster. So here's some 2 extra pitchers that probably the Rays may use in different ways and that'll help them out and make the playoffs. The Rays kept Oliver Drake because he's been a pretty good major league relief pitcher. The Marlins got John Curtis in a trade from the Rays. It's like, okay, there you go. The Marlins pick up an extra pitcher. The Yankees, though, signed Derek Dietrich, Nick Goody, Luis Garcia, Liam Lamare, and Lucas Lettuce to minor league deal. Nick Goody, Luis Garcia, Lucas Lettuce. Again, the Yankees are just fortifying that bullpen. Get guys who have been major leaguers, and in Luis Garcia's case, he's closed games out. Signing Ryan Lamare to minor league deal like they did Jay Brew, because their outfit has been the most healthy. And Derek Dietrich, if anybody goes down with an injury, he can come in and play any infield spot, and he can home runs off the bench. Aaron Sanchez, after getting hurt in 2019, missed all 2020 short season. The Giants signed him again to go with, again, more reclamation projects for this rotation and bullpen, because he's not even like 32 years old. He's pretty young. He's in his late 20s, and if he's healthy, he's been pretty good. So the Giants are just scrapping together their rotation, hoping things work. The Marlins, all the moves they just made, they DFA'd Harry Ramirez, who got a lot of at-bats in center field and right field for them. So I guess they're just moving on from him. Phillies officially signed Brad Miller, who was pretty good for the Cardinals, playing everywhere last year. So the Phillies, again, with him and Scott Kingery coming off the bench and playing everywhere, that will really help them out. Dodgers have signed Ron Renick, the special assistant to the GM. The former manager and bench coach gets to work with the Dodgers. That helps them out because he's been there and done that before. Fernando Tatis Jr. signed a 14-year deal for $340 million. So bites out all arbitration, all the free agents will be 35. And they've decided that, you know what? We like this guy. We're going to keep him. My thing is, there should be no contract more than 10 years, even if it's to buy an arbitration and a lot of their free agent year, because this guy's never been healthy. He's kind of frail a bit, so I don't understand giving that. But if they want to invest all that money in him, all that money into Machado and all the money they have already invested in Hosmer, go ahead. See how that works out for you. Tim Tebow officially announced his retirement from minor league baseball after being on the Mets minor league team the past few seasons. He only got promoted to AAA for them to sell tickets because it was in a bigger ballpark. Either way, good luck in your future endeavors or continuing your endeavors as a college football analyst. Cubs have DFA'd Sergio Alcantara, who I just mentioned last week at the top of the show, as a good backup piece for their team. He's now been DFA'd. A's picked up Mitch Moreland and Trevor Rosenthal. They're just making moves with Sergio Romo, now Trevor Rosenthal, and re-signing Yasper Petit. They've kind of not withstand. Obviously, losing Soria and Hendricks not a good thing, but hey, you get 3 relievers to help out. And Indians signed Alvaro Perez, I mentioned, minor league deal. That helps out their bullpen. The Reds picked up Tyler Naquin, a minor league deal. There's no guaranteed playing time because their outfield, they have way too many of them. But he's been a major league outfielder, so that just helps him out in case of injury. Tigers signed Willie Peralta to a minor league deal. The former Brewers starting pitcher and Royals relief pitcher will definitely help out the Tigers in any form of pitching, relieving, starting, whatever they need. Taijuan Walker signed a 2-year deal with the Mets, so the Mets get a rotation of DeGrom, Carrasco, Stroman, when Syndergaard is back from injury, Syndergaard, and then they got Lucchesi, and they got this young guy from their own system, and they just now they have Taijuan Walker. So definitely, they got more than 5 pitchers, which last year they signed Porcello and Waka Waka, and they had Lugo and Gazelman. Wasn't the best years for both Walker and Porcello with performance and injury, but healthy Carrasco, healthy Stroman, to go with the young guy they already had, the young guy they got from the Padres, and DeGrom and Syndergaard, that's a pretty good rotation. And whatever Walker gives you when he's healthy as a 5th starter is pretty good. And it's 2 years, so they got him for a bit. Tyson Ross is decided to go back to the Texas Rangers on a minor league deal after opting out of last season. If he's healthy, he could definitely help the Rangers eat innings. Now, there were 3 retirements in the last week. First one is former Pirates, Brewers, Reds, Phillies, and Mets relief pitcher Jared Hughes, who finished with 30 wins, so not a losing record, and a below 3 ERA and over 370 strikeouts. He retired at age 35. I felt like he could probably continue going, but as you see, a lot of these major league relief pitchers, who have either made all-star teams or saved 20 games in a season, have to settle for minor league deals, and Jared Hughes decided, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. You know, he's a pretty effective reliever for a while, so happy trails to him. And speaking of other relief pitchers, Cody Allen, who's 3 years younger at 32, he announced his retirement. The former Indians and Angels closer, he kind of fell off the map with the Indians toward the end of the 2018 season, picked up with the Angels in 2019, had such a bad year they had to cut him. And then last year with the shortened season, he didn't really play for anybody because it was only, minor league deals with the Rangers and the Cubs. So he decided he was going to announce his retirement because clearly whatever he had, he doesn't have anymore. But he finished with a 3 ERA, almost 600 strikeouts. Yes, he finished with a losing record, but the dude finished 153 saves, so that's not bad. If I had his baseball card, I would maybe think binder card worthy, but happy trails to Cody Allen, who everybody remembers, the Indians closer. And then the last but not least, the other guy who announced his retirement is Brian Dozier. He decided, you know what? After successful years in Minnesota and then trade rumors, and he eventually went to the Dodgers to finish 2018, and then he was on the National in 2019. So he gets a World Series championship. Then he played for the Mets last year briefly, and he's been an all-star and won a Gold Glove. And he's hit like 40 home runs in a season before. And yeah, he's going to finish with only 192 home runs and 561 home runs. So not binder card worthy, but a pretty good career. Again, retired at 33 because there's so many veterans who are out there right now that if you just look at my baseball cards and all the piles, you're like, this guy settled for a minor league deal. Like Kipnis settled for a minor league deal this week. Chirino, Jay Bruce, CJ Crone. A lot of these guys are accepting minor league deals. And some players are like, you know what? I'm in my mid-30s. I'm entering my mid-30s. I don't want to have to go to minor league affiliates and the minor league spring training sites and try to prove myself just in case an injury happens or somebody needs me. So some just go, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm pretty good. He did play for almost 10 years in Major League Baseball. So pretty good time that he playing from 2012, 2020 to be an All-Star Gold Glove winner, World Series champion. So happy trails to Brian Dozier, Jared Hughes, and Cody Allen. Thanks for listening to another edition of MLB Hotstove Week 13 of the 2021 offseason. For On the Radar Table Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.